Good morning students, I am Purnima and I welcome you to my class of English. Today we are going to continue the same lesson, the Commet 1, written by Jayant Narlikar. So children, who is the person who has written this lesson? He is Jayant Narlikar. And I hope everybody know about Jayant Narlikar. He is a famous scientist of India. Many times children, his interviews are shown in TV. He's very popular face, and uh, he is basically an astronomer. Now, this chapter deals with a person, Dattada. Though he was not a scientist or astronomer, he was simply a common people like us. But his hobby was to gaze a star. He generally used to pass his leisure time by gazing the star. And children, he wakes up at night, long nights he used to wake up to study the stars. His one ambition in life was to discover a new comet. So children, one ambition of life was to discover a new comet. He longed for enough money to buy a good telescope and also free time to study the star. Now children, he was longing for a telescope. He wanted to have a telescope and he wanted to pass his maximum time by gazing the stars. So children, but he was helpless as he was in job and he was not having enough time to do all that thing, neither time nor money. Well children, he was retired and he got the money after retirement. So first thing children he bought was an 8-inch telescope to build the secret children to fulfill his sacred ambition of his life. So children, what was his secret ambition of life? He was having 3 secret ambition of his life. First, to buy a telescope to gaze at the stars. 2, third point is to find a comet. Children, these two children, his leisure, this hobby, not hobby but his wish was fulfilled. When he got retired, he got enough money and he bought children a 8-inch telescope. And with telescope now children, he is retired, he is having enough time to gaze the star. So maximum time children he spent at night to gaze those stars. So he bought an 8-inch telescope to fulfill the secret ambition. He knew that comets come from the solar system like other planets. They too go around the sun, but their movement is unusual. They could disappear for ages. So children, he knew that comets come from the solar system and the comet comes from the solar system like other planet. His secret ambition, he knew that comets come from the solar system like other planet. They too go around the sun. So children, he knew that the comets, they come from solar system and like other system, they go around the sun, but their movement is unusual. They could disappear for ages, and children, they could disappear for ages. Indrani Devi, his wife, cursed the telescope. She called it Divya or Divya Chakshu. Now children, when he retired, he bought the telescope. His wife Indrani Devi was there, and children, she used to feel jealous with the telescope because now his maximum time passed with the telescope, especially at night. He used to hold that telescope in his hand and watch the star for hours. So he was very jealous, and they have named the telescope also Divya Chakshu. Chakshu means eyes and Divya means divine. So they used to think that the telescope was the divine eyes for them. Now, Indrani Devi, his wife, cursed the telescope. She called it Divya or Divya Chakshu, divine eye. She thought that the telescope was another woman who had trapped her husband. It made him careless about his own well-being and the practical problem of living. He did not take precautions against cold. So children, he did not take precaution against cold. The professional astronomer used big telescope. Now children, the professional astronomer used big telescope. Datta the 8-inch Divya stood very little chance of spotting a new comet. Still Datta was hopeful. He knew that the great scientists looked chiefly at faint stars. 2 days later the news appeared. So children, the professional astronomer used big telescope. Datta the 8-inch Divya stood very little chances of spotting a new comet. Now children, his last wish was to find out a comet. Now he knew all the great scientists, they were having a huge powerful telescope, so they can easily spot anything from there. But since he was having a small 8 inches telescope, he was helpless. He knew nothing could be could he could not find any comet from that telescope. But still Datta was an optimistic person. He still had a hope. He knew that the great scientists looked chiefly at faint stars. They missed such an insignificant thing as comet. One night, Datta noticed a new comet. So children, one night when Datta noticed a new comet, still Datta was hopeful. So he was very much hopeful. He knew that the great scientists looked chiefly at faint stars. They missed such an insignificant thing as comet. They missed such an insignificant thing as comet. One night, Datta noticed a new comet. 2 days later, the news appeared in the paper that a Calcutta man, Manoj Datta, had seen a comet, and it was reported at Indian Institute of Astrophysics. Manoj Datta had seen a comet and it was reported at Indian Institute of Astrophysics. This comet was heading towards the earth and it would be seen with naked eyes in the next few months. It was named Comet Datta. He became famous. He became a celebrity person now. There were felicitations for Datta, but he did not like to attend palace functions organized in his honor. So children, Datta did not like the felicitation. Okay. But he did not like functions organized in his honor. He wished he had not discovered the new comet. His wife agreed, but for a different reason. Though she was an educated lady, she had done her postgraduate. She was highly educated, but she was still very superstitious. She feared that comets brought ill luck and calamities on the earth. At Cambridge University, Dr. James Forsyth got a message to see John Macpherson. Now children, there is a turning point here in the story. Datta became very famous. He was an introvert person. He did not like to be a celebrity. But children, it was Indian Institute of Astrophysics. He had kept his name, not even his name, he became famous. Children, a press reported a very special correspondent had written about him. Now children, he not only became famous, but the comet which he had discovered was named Datta Comet. Now children, there is a turning point here. At Cambridge University, Dr. James Forsyth got a message to see John Macpherson. Now children, at Cambridge University, two famous people are here. One is Dr. James Forsyth. He got a message to see John Macpherson, Defense Science Advisor to the British government. Sir John handed him an article which James had written and sent for publication to Nature. It was very important because James had forewarned that Comet Datta would hit the earth and destroy it. The collision could be avoided if it got broken into pieces while coming near the sun, or it might collide with some other comet. The tragedy could occur in just 10 months. It was decided to call an urgent meeting of experts to find out ways to save the earth. They had to do something to push the deadly comet out of the way. So children, they have to push the deadly comet out of the way. Well, so children, now that comet is coming towards the earth, the scientists are worried. If it hit the earth, many people will die. And children, this was the reason his wife, Datta the wife, did not want to have that comet's name, Datta comet, because children, she knew that comets bring bad luck. And here children, again a great news was there that it is moving, it is heading towards the earth, and if it will hit the earth, if it will get collided with earth, many people will lose their life. So children, now I've already done children first part of the Comet 1, and we will be doing comprehension check, which is there at page number 77. So we will be doing the comprehension check. Well, in comprehension check there are 7 question and answer. So one by one we will be discussing all the question and answer. So first question is, why does Indrani Devi dislike Datta hobnobbing with Divya? First of all, what is the meaning of hobnobbing? So hobnobbing means hobnobbing to pass time together. To pass time together. So the first question is, how does Indrani Devi dislike Datta the hobnobbing with Divya? Divya was the name given by Indrani Devi. It was a telescope. Datta was always busy during night with Divya. He never cared for his wife or about himself, so his wife disliked it as her rival, and she used to feel jealous with Divya. Now, question number 2. She is complaining and is smiling. Why is she smiling? She complains that Divya has cast a spell on her husband. So what did she think? She complains that Divya has cast a spell on her husband. That means due to her magical power, her husband is under her control. But she could not help similar at his childlike behavior. He did not bother to close the door and he forgot to put on his sweater. And children, she is telling whatever, but his husband's behavior was very strange to him. He used to behave childlike behavior, like sometimes he used to forgot to put the sweater. Sometimes children, he forgot to close the window at night. Now, question number 3. What was Datta's secret ambition? Datta's secret ambition was to buy a good telescope and to have enough of spare time to watch the star. And children, his plan has become success also. After retirement, children, when he got a lots of money, he bought a telescope, and then in his free time he started looking at the stars. What did he do to achieve it? he wanted for his retirement. After retirement, he got sufficient fund. Then he bought a telescope and he started gazing at the star without caring for his wife and life. Why was Datta hopeful that he would discover a new comet soon? Datta, no children, first we will do question number 4. What is the difference between a planet and a comet as given in the story? So children, a planet has a fixed orbit. A comet comes from the distant corners of the solar system. So according to the story, a planet has a fixed orbit. A comet comes from the distant corners of the solar system. It keeps on changing. Fifth, why was Datta hopeful that he would discover a new comet soon? Datta was hopeful that he would discover a new comet soon because he knew that professional astronomers did not consider them insignificant and ignored them. So Datta was hopeful of discovering a new comet because he knew So children, Datta was a what type of person was Datta? He was a very gentle and generous person, and he had a very simple wish. One wish was to gaze to the star, and the other wish was to children to buy a small telescope so that he can look at the star in his pastime. And very secretly he also wished that he should find a comet. Now children, finally he got retirement and he got ample money. With that money, with that extra money, with that excess money, he bought a 8 inches telescope and he named that telescope as Divya Chakshu. Children, he was a retired person. He is a retired person now. So he had a lot of time. He had a lot of time now to gaze at the star. So children, he is gazing at the star. Now, finally he spot a something in the atmosphere and he felt that this is a comet, and he secretly wished also that he should find a comet. He was very much interested in astronomy, though he was not a very great scientist. He was simply a common people of India. So children, he was living in Kolkata, and so one day when he was watching that towards the sky, he felt that he can find the comet. At first he thought that it was smudges on the telescope, but later on he came to know that the telescope was quite neat and tidy and it was the comet which he secretly wished that he would find it out. Now children, as soon as he find it out comet, it became very popular, and there was a news in the newspaper by a special correspondent, and he has also children felicitated Datta Babu and his work. So now children, he became very popular. He became a celebrity person. Datta Babu was an introvert person. He did not like to become a celebrity person. So he hated all that function and felicitations of him, all that thing. Now his wife also did not like that he should get famous due to this comet. Now when asked by Datta Babu why she is feeling like that, she told, see, in India and in many places, comet are not considered to be good thing because children, they bring ill luck to the human being. So it is Datta Babu. It is Datta Babu. He thinks that children, what is he thinks that she is having misconception, though she is educated, she is postgraduated, but then she believes in lot of superstitious things. So he is telling you should not be so superstitious. After doing your post-graduation, you should be a bit broad-minded. Now children, there is a turning point here in the story. Okay, and now I am doing page number 77 in the spacious joining hall of King's College, Cambridge. So children, Cambridge, I think everybody know, is a very famous university. So a large dining hall is there. It's the King College of Cambridge University. The butler whispered differentially in the provost ear. Okay, and children, so it is the butler who is speaking. Butler are those person who help in serving and other thing. They are whispered deferentially. Deferentially means respectfully, children. So let me write the meaning of deferentially. Say a new word. Deferentially means respectfully. So he speaks respectfully. Okay, the butler who was there serving in the King's College at the Cambridge University, the butler whispered deferentially in the professor's ear and handed him an envelope on a silver tray. So children, he went to speak in the ear of some VIP person and handed an envelope respectfully in a silver tray. The provost beckoned James and passed on the envelope, saying, "It seems you are wanted urgently in your room." The provost beckoned James. Okay, so somebody who has sent the envelope, they told him that you are wanted in. The person who had sent you this envelope, okay, they have beckoned. Beckoned means called. So they have beckoned. So the provost called James and passed on the envelope, saying, "It seems you are wanted urgently in your room." And children, the message was passed to him. It was told that you wanted urgently in your room. As he made his way towards a beautiful building, James opened the envelope. It contained a brief note. And children, James opened the envelope. There was a brief note was there. "Dear Dr. Forrest, the bearer of this note has been instructed to bring you to my office in London tonight. The bearer of this note has been instructed to bring you to my office in London tonight. Please come without delay. I am making arrangements be your overnight stay in London. I regret the inconvenience caused to you and request you to keep your visit strictly confidential. Believe me, if it is absolutely essential. Yours sincerely, John Macpherson." So children, a short note was there in the letter saying that, "Dear Dr. Forrest, the bearer of this note has been instructed to bring you to my office." That means who had given you this note, he is requested to bring you to my office. So I think it was a butler who had given this thing to Mr. Dr. Forrest. Please come without delay. I am making arrangement for your overnight stay in London. So he is telling, I am making arrangement for your overnight stay in London. I regret the convenience caused to you and request you to keep your visit strictly confidential. So he is telling, I would request you to keep your visit strictly confidential. Believe me, it is absolutely essential. He is telling, believe me, believe me, it is absolutely essential. Yours sincerely, John Macpherson. The signature carried the designation underneath, Defense Science Advisor, His Majesty's Government. Now children, he was a very great personality. What was the instruction was reading? The instruction was there. What was the designation? Underneath read, Defense Science Advisor, Her Majesty Government. So who was he, children? He was Defense Science Advisor. Her Majesty is the Queen of England. So, Dr. Forrest, now children, a bowler, hatted man near the mantelpiece greeted him as James entered his sitting room. I'm Johnson, sir, security officer at Whitechapel. He showed his identity card and continued, I presume you know why I'm here, sir. Now children, a bowler, hatted man. Children, a round hat was put by the man who came to Mr. Dr. Forrest and near the mantelpiece greeted him as James entered his sitting room. When Dr. Forrest he came to his sitting room, he greeted him and he told, I am Johnson, sir, security officer at Whitechapel. He showed his identity card and continued, I presume you know why I am here. So he told that I assumed, assume means I guess you know why I am here. To the extent that is conveyed in this note. He told, yes, whatever is conveyed in this note, I am able to judge that why are you here, replied James. He knew that it would be useless to ask Johnson for further details. I won't take long. So he told, I won't take long. Very soon I am coming. I know for you what you are here. You are supposed to take me to that person who has written this letter. Johnson Ford. Cortina brought them to Whitechapel in less than 90 minutes. It took them another 10 minutes to reach the chamber of Sir John Macpherson. So, children, John Ford, Johnson Ford. Johnson Ford Cortina. So, what is the full name of the person who had come to take Mr. James? His full name is Johnson Ford Cortina. He brought them to Whitehall in less than 90 minutes. It took them another 10 minutes to reach the chamber of Sir John Macpherson. Having introduced James to Sir John, the quiet but efficient Johnson slipped out. So, in a very excited manner, something has slipped out from his mouth. Dr. Forrest, my apologies for this imposition on your time. So first, such a great man, he is asking for apology. He is telling Dr. Forrest, first of all, I am asking my apology because I have called you to my place at an awkward time. It took them another 10 minutes to reach the chamber of Sir John Macpherson. Having introduced James to Sir John, the quiet but efficient Johnson slipped out. Dr. Forrest, my apologies for this imposition on your time. Sir John advanced out with outstretched hand. To avoid any further delay, I will come to the point right away. Sir John handed him a typescript, and he told that Sir John had handed a typescript. Children, with this I conclude my video here. Thank you and have a nice day ahead. We will be doing the rest of the story in my next video. So bye till then.